Hello dear friends, today we are going on exploring southwest France, Aquitaine, and for now we are in the north of the department of Lot-et-Garonne, at the border with the department of la Dordogne. Today we shall speak of architecture, but neither military nor religious architecture, but civil architecture. Actually, this area is already well known for its new medieval towns, the Bastides, like the Bastide of Villeréal, which is very close, or the Bastide of Montflanquin, Castillonnès, and so on. But we will not speak of urban architecture. We will speak of country architecture, and there is a particularity in a small area, a few tens of kilometers near the Bastide of Villeréal, where you can find a very special wooden kind of houses, the kind of houses that usually you find in the alpine areas, like Savoy, like Swiss, like Austria. It's very strange and very old, and the best way to discover this kind of house is to go to near the village of Sainte-Sabine, and there is one of the best examples of those houses. In French we call them maisons à empilage, literally translated into stacked beam houses, log houses. And actually this house is right in front of us. Let's go and visit it. When I speak of wooden house, I do not speak of cob and half-timbered walls. I really speak of solid oak wood. Each of these beam was squared off by hand, and it was just put on another beam. They were just stacked. Each of these beams is about 10 meters long, for about 30-40 centimeters wide. There are very few openings, and originally even the roof, which is now covered with red tiles, was covered with wood shingle. Of course, each of these beams was interlocking with another beam, making these walls incredibly solid, able to resist severe weather for more than 500 years, since thanks to the dendrochronological analysis, we know that the trees which were used to make those beams were felled around the end of the 15th century and the beginning of the 16th century. So we are now inside this house. It's very simple, and there are only two rooms under an attic. There is also a small cellar. There was probably a bedroom, which is in the darkness, and the main room with a nice stone sink, and above all, in front of me is a gigantic beam that is the lintel of a huge fireplace. Well, actually, the fireplace itself was quite small, but with such a big lintel, you could easily pass under and be more comfortable to use the fire. You could also dry things or provisions, and you could also smoke and hang plenty of things inside the mantle of the fireplace. Of course, the question is why finding this kind of alpine architecture in an area which is not mountainous at all? Well, the first thing is to understand that once at the end of the Middle Ages, this area was covered with a thick oak trees forest. Something else is to remember that those houses are at least 500 years old. I mean, sometimes after the end of the 100 Years' War, the country was probably empty, and the authorities thought of repopulating it with either neighboring populations or with fairer countries' populations like the Alps area. If you like to see more of these houses, it's very simple. Take your car and explore the surroundings thanks to the thousands of back roads, and you could spot some of them. Some are actually in very good condition. They were magnificently restored. Others are more difficult to see because often they were absorbed by more recent buildings. You can even rent some of them, like the one which is right in front of me. We are in the village of Saint-Dizier, and the village transformed this one into what we call a gîte in French. Very nice architecture,